Hello and welcome to Equip. My name is Matt, and I'm glad to have with me today Todd Comstock, the principal of our school. One of his responsibilities is running our day camp in the summertime. And so we wanted to take a session today to actually talk through what is day camp, why do we do it, how do we do it, and hopefully be a blessing to you if that's something that you might consider. So Todd, tell me first of all, what is day camp?
Day camp is a ministry we use during the summer. We try to run it between the end of school and the beginning of school. We used about 9 weeks, 8 to 9 weeks, depending on the school year that runs in your area. Every area is a little different. And what we do is we have a camp that is based on fun activities. We try not to make it too much educational, but a little bit of fun and educational trips. But mainly is the idea of just having some fun, being able to help them enjoy their summer because some parents aren't necessarily available for that. Right. And so that's kind of what we do. We run it from 9 to 4. Times have changed in our
Sure.
generation, and there's a lot of both parents that work, and that is the reason for day camp.
Okay.
It is very much something that is happening over the last few years.
Right. So that's what it is. But tell us, if someone's starting out day camp for the first time, are there a couple things that they need to consider of what day camp should do?
Yeah, I recommend 3 things, 3 really important things. First one is day camp is not a moneymaker. And I understand that the thought process, there are people out there that use day camp to make money and survive. That is not what we should be doing. Mm-hmm. As a ministry, as a church, that's the last thing we want to worry about. And if that's the key reason why you want to start this, don't do it. Second thing I would say is it's not used for a revival preaching time. A lot of people will say, oh, let's preach to them. We got them here. Let's preach to them. That's not another reason not to do it. Now, you use that opportunity to bring them into day camp to get them in your church building and then invite them to VBS or invite them out to revival services. But don't use the time there as revival. The third one, it's not free babysitting. I know that you probably need a babysitter every once in a while, but it's not free babysitting for the church family. I think a lot of times we think it can be, but that is a bad way to run a business. And it is somewhat of a business, and we want to make sure of that. Now, there are church family members that we want to come to our camp. And the reason we do that is because we want them to have a right testimony. So maybe you can give them a discount. Maybe you can give them some different things that are free. But don't go out there and say, hey, I'm going to give out free babysitting. Right. Because that's not going to work either.
Right. So obviously, from the context of the ministry, there are a lot of day camps in our area. I know that we are, quote unquote, competing against. And they have different strengths and weaknesses. What would you say, though, for someone that's starting out from a church perspective, starting at day camp for the first time, what are some things that they can do that will maybe give them a leg up against the competition?
Yeah, I'd say there's one really key concept, and that is flexibility. The flexibility is the key to succeeding in this ministry, and being able to compete with the other camps. You're never going to compete with their facilities. You won't compete with the different things that they have to give them. For instance, like the YMCA, you'll never compete because of the big pools and that kind of stuff. But you can compete with flexibility. Most camps charge the full week. When they charge for the full week.
Really?
And so what we will do is we'll charge, okay, if you want to come for 2 days, you pay for 2 days. Last summer, we had 100 different campers come, and we had averaged 45 campers a day. Okay. So what that means is we did okay because of this flexibility. Now, if we had all 100 campers, we wouldn't have been able to make it in the facility we have. So it was kind of nice to have that. So it gives us the flexibility is the key to being successful, because really the idea is that you are being a blessing to them. My motto, and I tell this to the parents, is this: if you're home, I want your kids home with you. Who can best influence their kids? It's their parents. So if we charge them extra because we want the money, they're going to send their kids to camp rather than to send them and spend time with them individually. And so that's the key. So that's one of the major things. The second thing is keep the costs low. We've done that, and it makes a huge difference. And by keeping the costs low, how can you offset that? The best way to offset that is by offering to them to pay for what they use. Okay. So the idea is that if you go to one of the activities, you only pay for that activity. Not everybody pay for it by the overall money. And most camps in the area will charge you $400, $500 a week. And the reason they do that is because they pay for those activities, and if they don't go, they're still paying for them.
Right.
So those are the key concepts there.
Okay. So day camp ministry, obviously we want to reach these kids. And I think we've had some families that was their entrance into the church, right? That they came, got plugged in, got connected, VBS, some other things, and now we have some that are church members and in the academy.
Yeah. So that's a great, that was our way to get them.
Right.
You know, the idea is that we're going to be a testimony. Every parent wants their kid to be cared for. I don't care who they are, saved or unsaved. They want their kid to be cared for. So what they've done is one of our church members invited their neighbor to come to camp. Came to camp. As a result of coming to camp, they decided, you know what? The kids got saved. The parents saw the difference, saw we cared, and they decided they would come to church. Then as they came to church, then they became faithful members of the church. Now they have their kids in our academy. Yeah. Well, all because a neighbor invited a neighbor, and then they saw that we cared about their kids. Not preached to their kids, cared. And that's the key. So that's a big success. We're trying to be a blessing and a testimony in the community, and that's the way to do it.
So day camp is a great outreach opportunity for you, for your church. And you'll see on this page we have a sample schedule of what the day looks like. We've even got a calendar of events, so you can get an idea of some of the things that we do with the kids. Before we go, though, let me ask you one more question, Todd. I know we talked about money quite a bit. A ministry obviously doesn't necessarily pay for itself. As a church, we have limited resources and budget. So what would you say is important for a ministry like this to break even? Obviously, making money is great. It's not the goal, but what are some things we need to keep in mind to do that?
Yeah, I think everybody is always looking at trying to save money, no one's unlimited budgeted here. So one of the things that we do is we do a lot of organized activities on the facility. So we'll do like fun days on the facility, and that keeps the budget down. That makes it so that the kids have fun. We'll do like a Disney day. We'll do Despicable Me Day. We'll do a lot of little fun activities where they can dress up. They love those. And so they come in, we dress up, take pictures of them. We maybe have a plastic backdrop from Dollar Tree, and it's just the little things that keeps the cost down. The other thing that we do is when we do the field trips, when we do go off site. For instance, if we go to a Bounce U or a Get Air or anything like that are facilities that charge, what we do is we charge the parent a field trip cost. So, for instance, if the field trip is going to cost me $20, I charge them $10. Right. And as a result, why we do that is because I want to offset my cost, and once again, go back to our principle of they pay for what they use. Not pay for what somebody else uses, but what they use in their child. So if you charge that field trip cost, it really does make a difference. Okay. And so those are the keys to helping you break even in a day camp ministry. All
right. If you're thinking about starting a day camp, head over to our website, valleyforgedaycamp.com, and you'll see some pictures, sample schedule, and the summertime schedule of events as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being with us, Todd. And we hope that this will be a blessing to you. You can take some ideas away to help your church and ministry.